So we are recording. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I'm trying to adjust it.
Okay.
I think we're, yeah.
Okay, yeah, for some reason the recording part, or the part where people can put messages or questions, is not coming up. Let's see what else is here. Tag code. Oops, that's not what I want. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so today we have Amy Riley with us, who is the Aphrodiasiacs chef to the world. She's amazing. She has all these just such accomplishments, but she's written a number of books, including Fork Me, Spoon Me, The Sensual Cookbook, and Amazon's bestseller, Kiss My Bunt. So
I do have a correction on that.
Tell me.
I was the editor of Kiss My Bunt. I need to give credit to the fabulous and talented author, Krista Wilson.
Okay.
I'm merely...
You were part of it. I just love the title. And then... Go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying, I love it too. Yes. That was the name of her bakery.
Kiss My Bunt?
Yeah.
I know I'll love her too. Okay, and then, but also you're the leading authority on aphrodisiac foods for the you were for publications as varied as the National Geographic and London Times. You've been on TV shows, The Today Show, NPR's Wait, Don't Tell Me, and 2 times she's been on Playboy. But she was the one that was dressed. I believe you were talking about the foods. Am I correct? Or were you something else that we should know about that would be even more fun?
Was indeed. I was talking about food.
Okay, you were talking about food. Okay, so I want to talk about this. So for those of you who don't know me yet, I am Midori Verity. I am a relationship coach and the author to Secrets to a Kick-Ass Marriage. And I also have a show called The Ultimate Relationship Show. And that is where I met Amy. And I just had so much fun talking to her that since it is Valentine's week, I thought, gosh, we need to invite her on to give us these tips that are so important for Valentine's Day and getting us in the mood through food. So that's why we brought her on. So Amy, tell us a little bit about some foods that will help us get in the mood.
Okay, well, I actually have a really great list of foods on a website called eatsomething.sexy.com. So if we don't get to what you're looking for here or you forget, that would be the place to go. Some of the things that I love, we talked earlier about coffee, which nobody thinks of being an aphrodisiac. Great way to end your Valentine's meal is with coffee. Usually we're all like, oh, let's have the decaf. I didn't want to stay up all night. Well, yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You do want to stay up all night. So that's a great one. Oysters, which everyone knows, are a great aphrodisiac. But if you don't like oysters, and I know so many people who don't, then it's not going to work. You're not going to suddenly get turned on by something that you hate. So don't do it if you don't like it. But if you do like them, oysters have a lot of zinc, which increases blood flow, which makes an orgasm possible, basically.
So that's just from oysters. Is there anything else that acts similar to oysters?
Well, there was a study. Now I'm going to get a little geeky on you. There was a study by a group of American and Italian scientists that discovered that there's an amino acid in all of the bivalves, which are not just oysters but mussels, clams, scallops, that can potentially raise sexual hormone levels. Nobody's done the research to figure out exactly how many you'd have to eat, but they all kind of share this quality. So any of them would be great. So if you're not an oyster person but you love scallops, you're in luck.
Oh, so good to know. So we don't have to like oysters.
No, you do not have to like oysters. You do not have to force it on yourself.
I love cooked oysters, but I don't like to cook them myself because I think they're a lot of work. They're really messy and they're hard to get open. So the fact that I can eat a scallop.
I have a tip for you. If you do them on the grill, they pop open themselves. But you have to do it very carefully and grill them on low and very gently. Otherwise, you're going to have like a rubber ball inside the shell.
Okay, so cook them on low on the grill.
Yeah, and they'll pop open. And when they pop open, they're ready. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. Okay, that's good to know. All right, what about other things? So if we want to make one particular meal for Valentine's Day, what's
something easy? Salmon is great because you can get it everywhere. You can get good quality salmon pretty much anywhere. And it's a really good fish for poaching. Poaching is an almost foolproof method of cooking fish. Fish can be tough to cook. You can end up with overcooked fish, or you can end up with fish that's raw. It can be tough. So salmon's an easy fish. Poaching is an easy method to cook it. You can do it ahead of time and serve it cold or serve it at room temperature. It's great both of those ways. It's pink for Valentine's Day, so
and it's pink to boot. That's a bonus. I love that.
Yeah,
and I like the idea that we can cook it beforehand and have it cold.
Yes. Because cold poached salmon is delicious, and it's slippery and it's sensual, and you add something to it that has a different texture. We actually talked earlier about putting, say, a mango salsa on it that has a little chili in it. So you've got a little heat, you've got slippery salmon, you've got that moist, juicy mango. Hopefully, there's a little bite of onion. So you've got all these different textures going on, and you've just made this incredibly easy, done ahead of time. The kitchen's already cleaned up before dinner kind of meal.
I love it. And you can put that on scallops or anything else too, your mango salsa that you talked about.
Absolutely.
Okay,
yes.
So let's talk about that. Let's talk about your mango salsa that you had mentioned, because that is a key part of the sensual aphrodisiac meal. So tell us about that, and it's so easy.
So a mango salsa, which in summer I'd probably say peach, but they aren't in season. And I know that a lot of stores will carry a pre-made mango salsa, so that can even make it easier. Or you can, buy mango and chop it. But mangoes are an aphrodisiac themselves. Basically, honestly, there's all sorts of folklore. I believe it was in India. They claimed it was, it looked like testicles hanging on a tree, as if. At one time, it was, I'm sure it was some man who came up with that one. But sure. For avocados were once called testicle trees, as if. But
I've learned a lot today from you.
Anyway, so mangoes are a lovely sensual aphrodisiac, and then you add the heat of chili. Chili is awesome, one of my favorite aphrodisiac ingredients, because the effects are immediate and exciting. Chilies make your tongue tingle. They make your lips plump up so that you look more kissable to the person across the table, and they feel more pillowy and soft when someone's kissing them. And they raise your body temperature, so you're ready to tear off your clothes. So they're kind of perfect. If you're going to make your own mango salsa, I would recommend adding just a little bit of jalapeno chili. It's not that hot of a chili. The first thing you want to do is take out the core, take out all the seeds, throw them all away, then really finely chop that jalapeno and mix it in. And then the really important part, you have to wash your hands really well, because the chili oil will get on your hands. And not only do you not want to accidentally touch your eye, because probably a lot of you have had this experience of something hot and touching. Not only that, but think about it. If you're going to move on to the bedroom, you don't want your hands going other places. And
you have red swollen eyes. It's not as sexy as the lips.
Well, yes, swollen eyes are not as sexy, but also think about it. When you go to the bedroom, you don't want to touch another person in places where where that could cause great pain.
Okay. Yes, we have to think of those things. Make that mental note, everyone. Wash your hands very well.
Or the other thing is, you can get a pair of those, the kitchen gloves that food service workers use, the cafeteria worker uses. You can always drop your chin. Not sexy, but no one has to see you do it. And then you're safe.
Yeah, and just keep them in your cupboard. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, cool. So we've talked about chili. We've talked about some different types of fish that are good. Are there any other things that we should be aware of that are kind of aphrodisiacs that will help us?
Absolutely. There are so many great things, so many great fruits that are aphrodisiac. We talked about the mango, pomegranate also. So maybe you'll have a glass of champagne and throw in a little bit of, you could throw in a little pomegranate juice to make it pink and pretty for Valentine's Day, or you could just throw in the little pomegranate. The pomegranate kernels are actually, there's a word for them. They're called arils, but yeah, so you can throw in a few of the pomegranate arils into your champagne, and you're having layers and layers of aphrodisiacs, because champagne, of course, also a fabulous aphrodisiac.
Yeah, we talked about that. I love champagne, and my husband loves when I have champagne. So totally agree.
Yes. Something that probably comes as no surprise, nuts are aphrodisiac. And not just because of the name, but so, a bowl of, just snacking on a bowl of almonds while you enjoy your champagne is a great way to get a little of that aphrodisiac feeling going. And nuts are a good source, or they help with testosterone production, for one thing.
Certain types of nuts, or any kind of nuts?
Any kind of nuts. I think that I don't know this. I know that almonds are particularly good. And I'm not saying that there are probably many of the other nuts are just as good as almonds for testosterone production. Also, they, and nuts, basically nuts are a good source of vitamin E, which is also called the sex vitamin.
It is?
Yes, because it's great for sexual hormone production. Yes. So anything then, of course, that's full of vitamin E, avocados, as I mentioned before, are great as aphrodisiacs. And you can look at it. Here's the thing, though. When I talk about foods that are aphrodisiac, you kind of have to think of them in two different ways. One are the foods for the romantic evening that are going to work immediately.
Right.
And the others are the foods that are considered aphrodisiac because they help with sexual hormone, help either with sexual hormone production or help with performance. Like we were talking about the oysters and the zinc. So maybe that you need to, for a week leading up to your big romantic dinner, maybe you want to eat more foods that have vitamin E in them and make sure you're getting the proper sexual hormones. Yeah. Or maybe you just want to throw out on the big night. Maybe you just want to throw out all the things that affect you immediately, like the coffee and the chilies that we talked about.
Right.
And the shampoo.
I love this. Oh my gosh. I'm feeling like I need to go to the store right now and start planning the next few days before Valentine's Day. These are awesome. Okay. So we talked about different nuts that are good for testosterone, and then the types of fish, including salmon and scallops and oysters and chili and ginger. And what am I missing? There's another one that I'm missing right now. Chili, ginger. Oh, and gosh, there's one more that we said, but I can't remember what it is. But all of those.
Trying to remember, I don't know.
That was a little grocery list that we just did. Jalapenos.
Oh yes, your jalapenos and your gloves.
And the gloves. Don't get it on your hands, or don't let it stay on your hands before moving around. Yeah. Good. Very, very important part. Okay. And then now let's talk a little bit about wine. So if we're having champagne or scallops, what type of wine would you recommend with that?
Wait, if we're having scallops?
Is our connection not very good?
No, just all of a sudden there, you disappeared. So
disappeared. Okay. So if we're having scallops or the salmon, what type of wine would you recommend with that?
The kind you like to drink.
The kind that you like to drink?
Yeah, I should say the other hat that I wear is I also work as a wine writer and a wine critic, and I am a huge proponent of simply drinking what you like, rather than sort of trying to fit yourself into some ideal of what would be perfect. If you like, I can tell you there are certain wines that have characteristics that can be sexier than others. There are some wines that it's been studied actually have aromas that smell like human pheromones. And you'll typically find those in Chardonnays, really earthy sort of Pinot Noirs, and other really like an earthy Rhone blend sort of red wine, or maybe a Bordeaux. So these are things, and you'll also find them in Blanc de Blanc Champagne and some Rieslings as well. Dry Rieslings though, not the sweet kind.
Right. Oh, I had no idea that when I was drinking those, that was.
Oh yeah. Turn on. And on.
Who knew? Well, this has been so enlightening. I can't believe what I learned. I thought I knew quite a bit, but apparently I knew very, very little because I didn't know most of the things that you talked about today.
Well, now you can take all this and carry it on and incorporate that into helping people have fabulous relationships.
Absolutely. That's what it's all about. So remember gloves when you're chopping up the jalapenos, and remember coffee after your meal. Love, love, love that. Such a good idea. Okay, well, thank you so much for being here with us, Amy. And tell us again where we can find your information.
Oh, so you can find a really great dictionary of aphrodisiac ingredients at eatsomething.sexy.com.
eatsomething.sexy.com. Okay, and then also, just so you know, she has a fabulous blog post on my website right now that gives you some very, very good recipes that I know you're going to want to take advantage of, including truffles, which are super simple. I'm going to be making them, but check that out. It's at midoriverity.com, and just go to the blogs, and that's where you will find Amy's blog post. So again, Amy, thank you so much for being here with us and spending a little extra time with me. And I look forward to picking up your book and looking at that site that has a list of all those items that are so important to our love life.
Thanks for introducing me to Blab. I love this. Great.
Very cool, huh? Yeah. Okay, so let me just stop.